Bradley Walsh has always been one of Britain's most beloved entertainers. A man who could light up any room with nothing more than a grin, a joke, or one of those spontaneous moments that only Bradley could pull off. For decades, audiences saw him as the energetic, unstoppable force of laughter and heart. But behind the quick wit and camera-ready smile, there has always been something even more important: his bond with his son, Barney Walsh. Their relationship has been admired for years, not because it was perfect, but because it was real, honest, human. Whether laughing together during television appearances, teasing one another in interviews, or sharing simple father-son moments off-screen, there was always something about them that drew people in. Bradley, the seasoned entertainer. Barney, the proud son carving his own place in the world. Together, they became a duo that felt grounded, genuine, and full of warmth. But recently, that familiar brightness dimmed slightly as Bradley reached a major turning point in his life, a moment that forced him to pause, reflect, and step back from a chapter that had shaped his career for years. And for Barney, watching his father face this change was far more emotional than he ever expected. Those close to the family say the goodbye wasn't dramatic or staged for attention. It was quiet, personal. A moment filled with the kind of emotions that don't need an audience, just two people taking stock of how much they've meant to each other over the years. Bradley reportedly struggled with the weight of it all. To the world, Bradley was the man who never slowed down, the man who seemed to live on a moving train of jokes, work, and endless activity. But now, for the first time, Barney saw his father pause long enough to feel the reality of the change. And that hit him harder than he expected. For so long, their lives had been intertwined through shared projects, shared travel, shared routines. When you work with someone you love, the lines between family and friendship blur beautifully. Their schedules weren't just professional commitments, they were the threads that tied them together day after day. And suddenly, Barney had to face the truth. This chapter was closing. Witnesses described the goodbye as emotional. Barney, usually composed, reportedly found it impossible to hold back tears as he thanked his father for everything he had learned, not just in front of the camera, but in life. He was grateful for the guidance, the laughs, the advice, the encouragement, and the countless lessons Bradley had passed on simply by being himself. And Bradley, for once, the entertainer who always had a joke ready, found himself without words. He paused, overwhelmed, before finally telling his son exactly what he felt: that working alongside him had been one of the greatest privileges of his life, that watching Barney grow into his own person, his own talent, his own man, had made him prouder than any award or achievement ever could. It was a rare moment of vulnerability from a man best known for humor, a moment that showed the world a side of Bradley few had truly seen. Not the entertainer, not the television host, but a father, deeply moved by his son's love. When the details of that exchange began to circulate, fans responded instantly. Social media lit up with messages of support, admiration, and shared emotion. Viewers admitted they felt touched by the story, with many saying it reminded them of their own relationships, with parents, with children, with the people who shaped them. What struck so many wasn't the sadness of the moment, but the sincerity, the gratitude, the undeniable love between two people who had built not just the family bond, but a friendship. Because this wasn't a goodbye built on loss, it was a goodbye built on growth. Bradley now steps into a quieter chapter of his life, one where he finally allows himself to breathe a little deeper, rest a little longer, and reflect on everything he has accomplished. A chapter where he gets to enjoy the life he built, rather than constantly racing through it. And Barney? He continues moving forward with his career, stronger, wiser, and more grounded thanks to the foundation his father helped lay. Friends say he's determined to honor everything Bradley taught him, not by copying his path, but by trusting himself enough to forge his own. Their schedules may no longer overlap the way they used to. There may be fewer shared sets, fewer backstage jokes, fewer last-minute lunch breaks between shoots. But what they share now is something even more meaningful: a deeper understanding of what they mean to each other. A bond strengthened not by routine, but by appreciation. A partnership transformed, not lost. A connection that grows even as life changes around them. For fans, this story serves as a powerful reminder that behind every public figure is a family navigating the same emotions as everyone else. Change, pride, gratitude, and the bittersweet moments that shape who we become. Because at its core, Barney's goodbye to Bradley wasn't truly about stepping apart. It was about stepping forward. It was about recognizing that chapters end not to break bonds, but to allow new ones to begin. It was about realizing that the strongest relationships don't fade when life changes. They evolve. And for Bradley and Barney Walsh, this evolution is filled with laughter, memories, mutual respect, and a love that remains unshaken. The world has watched their journey with admiration, and as they enter this new stage, one thing is certain. Their bond isn't going anywhere. It's simply taking a new shape, one defined not by schedules or shared projects, but by everything they've built together over a lifetime. Their story continues, and for anyone who has ever faced change with someone they love, their journey is a reminder that even the quiet goodbyes can be full of hope, strength, and the kind of connection that lasts long after the lights dim.